Right, it's the Champions League draw. This is my reaction to it. Some massive, massive groups out there. Man United, I think they're in a world of pain, but so are Newcastle United. They're going to be out by Christmas, by Boxing Day. In my stocking, as a little present, will be Newcastle United getting dumped out of the Champions League, and I absolutely love to see it. Obviously, we'll cover Arsenal, Man City in this video. It's just a quick reaction overview. I'm gassed the Champions League is back. Obviously, the final is at Wembley. It's a massive opportunity for the English sides to get a bit of a foot in. If they do get to the final, you'd feel there's a bit of a massive opportunity there for English sides. At home ground, 100%. Let's just start off with Arsenal. I think they've got a really good draw for a side that haven't been in the Champions League for a few years. They got absolutely smashed the last time they were in it by Bayern Munich, of course. It was 10-2, something like 15-3 on aggregate in the last 3 games against Bayern Munich. Thankfully, they didn't draw that kind of side. They drew Sevilla, obviously champions of the Europa League, and that is going to be a really tough few games for Arsenal, really, and that is as far as it goes. But even in the Champions League group stages, this Seville side, they're not the same side that they are in the Europa League, especially in Europa League finals. They just do something different in that kind of context. In the Champions League group stages, I've seen it with City. They are beatable, with all due respect. And if Arsenal can get home and away wins against them, they're basically in control of the group. Because Lyon, with all due respect, it's nice to see them back in the Champions League. I think they've got a bit of a European heritage. I feel like in the 90s or early 2000s, obviously a very small town near Lille in France. I've been to Lyon. It's when we beat Wales in the Euro 2016 tournament. Lyon should be 6 points for Arsenal, and then PSV. I feel like this is like a walk down memory lane. Cause I feel like I've seen Robert Pires swanning about against PSV back in the day. I might be wrong. I feel like it's a Dennis Bergkamp, Robert Pires away kit vibe, yellow kit maybe, but either way, PSV obviously a club, a former European champion club in their own right, of course. But again, it should be a group that Arsenal win, and you feel that the way the tournament's structured, if you win that group, there's a lot of beatable sides out there, especially with the money that Arsenal have outlaid on these players. You know, these aren't joke transfers. They spent hundreds of millions of pounds in the last few windows, and that isn't to just get to the group stage of the Champions League. That isn't to come 4th, 5th, 8th. It's to come first. It's to come first in the Champions League group. It's to win the FA Cup, win the Premier League, and ultimately win the Champions League, which is something they've never, ever done, even before it was rebranded. This is a massive opportunity. If you feel that if City slip, there's a handful of clubs that could do maybe like a little Monaco run with Falcao and all that back in the day. There's a few clubs that could do a little mini, even Napoli last season, that kind of weird run. Arsenal definitely are one of those sides. That's the reality. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool weren't always winning the Premier League, and they went on to win the Champions League. And get into finals against Real Madrid, etc. So it can 100% be done. And I think Arsenal have to look at this group in Group B and think we are going to do something special this year. Why not? Why not? Group A: Bayern Munich, Man United, Copenhagen, Galatasaray. It's not the group of death, because we're going to come on to that in a minute. But you feel that Bayern Munich and Man United should both be getting out of that group easily. And when that happens, I feel like in Champions League football, the third side always creates an issue, because they'll take points off the worst side. And then if Man United then don't take points off the worst side, which is Copenhagen, with all due respect, then Galatasaray only have to get a cheeky little win in their very, very daunting stadium to go to in Istanbul. Man United, I tweeted humorously, but it got a lot of backlash, that they might not even get out of the group, or they might come third and hit the Europa League. Now, I'd love that. I'd love to extend their misery, and I want to see them back in the Europa League, where they've kind of been ever present for the last few years, to be honest. So I do think that Bayern Munich will win the group. Thomas Tuchel he'll be there to win silverware. He'll be there to win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. Harry Kane at Man United is really, really amazing to see that, and I think he's going to score a hat-trick against Man United. I can't wait. But then that kind of Copenhagen game is the one that everyone will be trying to get 6 points out of, and then Galatasaray. If Man United win away at Galatasaray, they'll get out of the group and all the banter diminishes. If they don't win at Copenhagen, Galatasaray away, they're in a world of pain. They're in a world of pain, and I'm praying that happens, of course. Newcastle, they're in a bigger world of pain. These guys might get 0 points, for real. I only say that because I think they've been found out against City. I think they've been found out against Liverpool a little bit. I think they've been shown to be a slightly naive side, slightly lacking in the depth, the quality. I don't think Tonali had enough of an impact against Liverpool, against Man City. I'd be concerned in that regard. I'd just be concerned that any world-class winger that plays for any of these lads, Liao, maybe he plays on the left, of course, but let's just say Liao was running down the right flank for whatever reason. There was a switch against Dan Burn. Mbappe against Dan Burn. This is where this joke kind of hodgepodge kind of stitching things together and getting a tune out of certain players, getting a tune out of Almiron, getting a tune out of Shar. It's a bit of a love story with Newcastle, and fair enough, and I respect it. He's done a fantastic job to even get them in the Champions League. But against these sides, they're going to get absolutely wiped the floor with. I really do. I think Dortmund, they won't get a point away there. I don't think they'll get any points against PSG. Obviously, Luis Enrique, a former Champions League winning manager, against Eddie Howe, surreal. And then AC Milan. I mean, I think Newcastle could pick up a couple of wins, even a win against PSG at St James's Park. Of course, it's an incredible atmosphere. But there's a world where they really, really struggle. And I remember as a City fan, we had our first group, I think it was Villarreal, Napoli, and we had all the quality on the pitch. We had to get Aguero to come off and score last-minute goals. Just looked disjointed, looked like rabbit in headlights vibes. This could happen to Newcastle because a lot of those players have never even kicked a ball with that Adidas Champions League logo. That's the reality. Let's just talk about Man City very quickly. I'll be doing a separate video, so if you're a Man City fan, I'd love you to watch the separate video about Man City's group. But let's be completely real. Red Star Belgrade, Leipzig, and Young Boys. It's a group. It's a group that kind of says to me, go out lads and win the Champions League back-to-back seasons. It's the kind of professional group that you get 12 points from, or what's the maximum? 2, 3, 6, 9. That can't be right. I'm 3, 6 times 3, 18 points. Let's go and get 15 points out of this group. Yeah, maybe Red Star is a hard one away, if you can even get let in the stadium. And then you smash Young Boys, you smash Leipzig. Hopefully Young Boys have got real grass pitch this time. And then you just move on to winning the Champions League. It feels like a very professional kind of group. I think Haaland scores 40 goals in the group and we get out of it easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that is it. Obviously Barcelona back, which is great to see them in the rightful competition of the Champions League and not the Europa League. Celtic have made it through against the champions of Holland in Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid and Lazio. That's going to be a world of pain for Celtic. Let's be completely real. I've been saying that a few times in this video. Real Sociedad's nice. I wish David Silva hadn't have retired. That would have been so sick to see him back in the Champions League with Inter Milan and Benfica. But it's going to be the usual suspects. It's going to be Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich in the Champions League semis. Trust me, mark my words, mark it in your calendar. It's going to happen. Real Madrid have got Napoli, Braga and Union Berlin, which is nice. You know, Madrid, Berlin, Naples. That's what it's all about. We never see a Berlin side in the Champions League, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We'll be covering all the Champions League games as they come around. I will be covering Newcastle getting smashed home and away in these Champions League group games. And sorry if you're a Geordie fan, but that's just the reality of the situation. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you very, very soon.